Hey everybody, welcome back to Finding Jesus. I'm Jordan and I have one of my favorite people here with me today. This is my friend Mandy and we've known each other for 13 years. 2010, right? I feel like
Yeah, pretty much.
2010 is when we met. So she plays a lot of different roles in my life, but I asked her to come and talk to us today about worship because one of the roles that she plays and plays very well is a worship leader. So I know a lot about you, but I'm trusting that my audience doesn't. So just tell me a little bit about your background, where you're from, family, what you do, etc.
Hi, my name is Mandy. I am a mother of three, married to my husband, who is worship leader and a pastor on staff at our church, Harvest Church. I have known Jesus most of my life. I grew up in the church. I met Chris, gosh, a long time ago. We've known each other our whole lives, but we started leading worship together when we were teenagers in our youth group and got married and now have three children.
That's awesome. That's a long time. I'm not going to tell everybody how old you are.
You're not?
Or the milestones that y'all have celebrated recently, with age wise, but just the fact that you have children, so you are an adult, and that you started leading worship when you were teenagers.
Yes.
I think I forget that sometimes, that you've been leading worship for so long, or that worship has been such a big part of your life. And you said that like you grew up in the church, so you've kind of always known Jesus. But was there a specific moment in your like history or like as a child growing up that you were like, okay, I know that I want to lead worship? Or how did worship become such a big part of your life, even by the time you were a teenager?
It's funny. People have asked me this before. I cannot pinpoint a certain time where I felt that. I think it has always been in me, and I have done it since I was young. Love to sing, love to worship. I think I love loving on Him, and I have from a young age. And so I started, my parents, so my dad and my mom has played the piano almost her whole life, so she had always helped lead worship and play the piano. My dad always sang in the choir, always helped lead worship. So I grew up worshiping Jesus,
Yeah.
and being around it all the time, and it just became a part of who I was, that was how my parents lived their life, so that was how I became and lived my life. And finding somebody who loved to worship and felt led to do that just as much as I did was awesome.
Yeah. You and Chris worship so well together. I mean, y'all have been together for how many years?
Well, we started leading worship in our youth group when he was 16 and I was 17.
Yeah.
So
So over 20 years.
Yeah, whatever.
Without doing the math. Over 20
More
years.
than 20, yes.
Yeah.
Probably about like, yeah.
Yeah. So a long time. And I think obviously it helps. You have a heart for worship, but you also are incredibly talented. And I know that you like God's gifted you. That's something that's like probably hard for you to say, because you don't want to like brag on yourself. I'll brag for them. They're both incredibly talented. The fact that we have the talent that we have in our church, not just you and Chris, but the band. I mean, we're a smaller church, and the fact that we have the talent that we do,
Very blessed.
very blessed, because it's not all about talent and like natural ability. I think the heart behind it is so much more important. But when you couple those two things together, it just makes it really easy for the body of Christ to enter worship and to experience God's presence.
It does. It helps that it's not distracting, and it helps when things sound good
And their own key.
to the human ear. But I tell people, they say stuff all the time, and I remember at a very young age asking my dad, I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable when people tell me, oh, you sing so good. And I was like, what do I say back? Because it was never about me. And so he was like, you just tell them that it's a blessing. It's a gift that God gave, and you enjoy giving it back to him. And that's really what it is. I tell people who are like, I can't sing worth a lick. If God
That's
wanted
me.
you to do, but the Bible just says make a joyful noise, and God made your voice the way it is.
Yeah.
And so to him, it's all beautiful. We like to hear things, and I know that God put harmonies and music together, but to him, it's all a beautiful sound from whoever it comes from.
It is. Well, and I think one of the most beautiful things to hear on Sunday mornings in our worship services is when you hear the whole body singing together.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just one voice. And it's really, worship is not about one person. It's not about who's on stage leading the moment. It's really about all of us recognizing and embracing who God is.